Good afternoon, crypto freaks. My name is Brett Musser. I'm the Chief of Business Development and Content here at Edge, and I'm joined by my coworker and co-founder and superior, William Swanson.
Hello. Greetings. Welcome to the podcast.
And he's our chief architect. He makes sure all the data is safe, everything's working. So let's get to it. Crypto winter is still going on strong. I expect more pain, and we got some pain to kind of talk about. And also, remember to, send us any questions that you have on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, wherever we're streaming right now, wherever you're kind of listening in. Ask us questions, and we'll answer them right on the spot. But first, we're going to kind of get into some of the happenings in crypto winter. And I guess the first story we're going to start off with are some exchanges. So we've seen a lot of exchanges, and I know you've seen a lot of exchanges come and go over the years.
Yep.
We got another one called Liquid Exchange, which ironically lost liquidity. Yeah, sorry, got my tongue tied up there. And they're no longer able to provide liquidity for their users, and and then we have another exchange.
But at least that one wasn't a hack. That one looks like a clean shutdown. You can withdraw your money. They just went out of business.
Yeah, they went out of business, and I expect that to continue to happen over the course of the year. Volumes have really died up, and a lot of exchanges have entered the space, and there's only so much liquidity at any given time.
Well, you want to talk about more people having trouble? Host show.
Yeah. I mean, we've got layoffs all around. I know Consensus a couple weeks back were laying people off. Shapeshift were laying people off, and I would expect that a lot of it has to do with like customer support. But there are also some pretty, I guess some higher up positions, middle management positions that also got laid off, and that's terrible for anyone to experience. But it does happen in a kind of a wild west like crypto, where things move up and down. You have short-term demand spikes, and your business, you might think you need to scale immediately to a certain level, and then all of a sudden the demand drops out right from underneath you.
Well, I mean, I think that's actually kind of part of the cyclical nature of what we're doing here. I mean, the price of Bitcoin is boring right now. We're in the doldrums. It's just bottom dragging. And when it was going up and up and up, passing all-time highs every week, it was like exciting, and you had all these people pouring in.
Yep.
And when new people pour in, what do they need? If you're on an exchange, a centralized service of some kind, KYC. You're going to have people reviewing all those applications and supporting all those new users, and it's a mess. And so you hire. Like, we can't find people fast enough to man the phones and keep our business running. Mm-hmm. And then it gets boring. You don't have influxes of new users pouring in and just demanding all this. And then what do you have? 100 people sitting around
doing nothing.
Thumbs.
Yeah, exactly. So I think we've done a really good job of scaling up when we need to, and not having to, really lay off. And I remember, certain people can help out with QA or support when demand. We have some big demand spikes. I know I've gotten in there and helped out when we have a lot of demand. Instead of bringing on extra people, even our CEO Paul will help people all the time. And I know William, you have, and other people.
Yep.
But that's one of the things as a business, is being able to monitor what's going on in the market, and making sure you don't scale past what your demand can keep up with.
Well, I think one of the differences too in Edge's business model is we don't have a need for massive support when you have new users.
Yeah, especially for exchange function. We offload
all that stuff, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So we have a support load proportional to our number of active users versus a support load proportional to our number of incoming users, which means it's going to be more stable through time.
Yep.
As long as people keep using our wallet, we're going to have that same threshold of just people using it. And hopefully when people join, they continue to use it and it doesn't go away.
Yep.
But we've definitely seen a drop, though.
Yeah, for sure. But we've, I did an interview yesterday with a YouTube channel, and we're talking about, how we fared during the bull market and the bear market. And you could definitely see there was a huge wave in terms of new users, active downloads, but our revenue wasn't necessarily too drastic going up or too drastic going down. Pretty steady. And I think that really speaks to the robustness of our team and our business model and what we do. And we haven't had to, really, there was really no negative consequences in terms of, employees. We still have our core team, and, we always have some type of contractor developer doing small tasks here and there.
Well, the other thing that's too different is when we have less support load. That's the time when we start writing those FAQ articles and like really just building out for the next wave. Right?
Exactly.
So it's times of building versus times of shutting down and closing.
Yeah, and the bear market is a necessary cycle. So bull market, you kind of
prices go up. It's exciting.
It's like a big feast. Everyone's just chowing down, enjoying the bull market. But the thing about a bull market, you get lazy. Some things come in. Scammers can kind of take advantage of it. They can, or there's a lot of excess supply. People putting out a lot of coins, a lot of projects. There's too many employees in the sector, and the bear market clears that out. It clears out, excess supply,
it's like that fasting
scams.
cleanse.
Exactly, it's very
binged.
necessary. Yeah. And then and just like fasting, it could brings back your focus and your clarity. So instead of just focusing on short-term demand, which everyone was focused on because it was so heavy in Q4 of 2017. People can really get back to like what you're saying, building for the next wave and thinking more long-term and thinking about long-term products, not just like managing the tickets that everyone's getting, for support. And it's definitely healthy, and then you get better at resource management, right? You don't have as many funds, in your war chest, so you got to really think about every penny that you're spending or Satoshi that you're spending. And I expect the firms and companies and projects that make it out of this bear market are going to be extremely healthy and strong. And the bear market definitely helps with that. And it gets rid of a lot of the junk out there, either scams or just, dumb projects.
Can I say a word about edge culture? Are we we just dropped a reference to fasting as if that was like not a big deal.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, the world out there, like how many people have actually used fasting or as a health thing?
Well, I would say in the world a lot because
there's other cultures besides the United
exactly,
States, right?
Yeah.
But within the United States, like I think everybody in the office does some kind of fast. Like I know RJ, our head of support, like he's doing a intermittent fasting where he like eats at night, and like I've done like week-long fasts where I haven't eaten any food except water for like a week as a cleanse.
I mean, it's been pretty common sense in almost every major religion,
yeah.
For millennia. So I think maybe the American diet has gone off the rails maybe the last 40 years, which is like a blip on the radar, but like, a feast every now and then is good, and a fast every now and then is good for the body. So we've experienced that in crypto, and right now we're in the middle of the fast. I'm looking forward to it.
It's just one of the things that I've noticed working at this company is that, I mean, before I thought I was a fairly weird individual who goes on the internet and studies health stuff and like comes to these bizarre conclusions that don't match popular culture. And then I come to work at this company where everybody else has made the same conclusions, and I feel like it's are all these countercultural people drawn to edge somehow?
Well, I personally, I know I was. When I was like first getting into, truly diving down into Bitcoin in 2015, and I came across Airbits. It definitely had all the components I was looking for in terms of culture and what you guys have built and what you guys are thinking about the future. And I think other people that work here definitely gravitate toward it. We're all kind of weird in our own ways. We're into cryptocurrency. We're into sound money. We're kind of anti-status quo, not in a violent way, but just we're moving in our own direction, doing our own thing. So I definitely think we have the best culture out there by far. It's not even close.
Bunch of free thinking.
Yeah. And I think a lot of the really good companies in crypto have great cultures as well, because it is definitely not only a system switch, but a culture switch. How we think about money.
How we think about life.
How we think about life, everything. So, not a good situation for people that did get laid off, but that is part of the Wild West. People that work at Edge here, especially in the beginning of Airbits, you don't know how long, things are going to work out for, right? But we're kind of used to being in that chaos, and it's just part of our backdrop now.
I know
it's like the price. We see the prices move. It's like
it's whatever. I've been around this block a couple times before. It's crashed and come back. Actually, when I first married Bethany, my wife, her dad had worked in the post office, a career post office guy for her entire life. So they were actually kind of shocked that she was marrying a person in a startup company. Like,
high risk.
How is he going to? But it's actually worked out really well. I mean, we've been married for 2 years and we have a little baby. It's like a really, it's been a really good period of time for us. But it's just, that whole culture shock of startup company in a weird space that you've never heard of. It's just
high risk, kind of on the edge of, pun intended, on the edge of finance and technology.
Yep.
Yeah, and also let's get back to something that's core to our belief system and architecture and business is holding your own keys. That's what William has built, an architecture in which the user has complete control over their money and data, and we don't. And we've seen one of the biggest risks that you can take is leaving your money on exchanges. And we have I feel like we bring this up every couple of QA sessions, where if you're by leaving it on exchange, you are offloading responsibility on another party,
who
a
may
third
or may
party,
not know what they're doing.
which Nick Szabo has coined the phrase "third parties are always security holes," right? And third parties can often they are trusted, they can work well, but often they don't. And we see another exchange in Canada, Quadriga, what is it called? CX.
So normally, when an exchange goes down, it's because they got hacked.
Yeah,
now, sometimes it's an
This is
inside
another
job,
situation.
and we don't know, right? But this one is actually completely different in a messed up way.
Yeah, even you're smiling about it, though.
I mean, it's not something to smile about, but
Yeah.
the situation is just so, it's like a sitcom. Like, what if we live in a cartoon now? I mean,
Yeah,
what
so
happened?
so what happened in Quadriga is pretty unfortunate. Their, I guess, CEO or founder, I'm not necessarily clear, but the head person in charge had sole access to the cold storage funds that were being stored on behalf of clients of the exchange. And
To the tune of like 190
$90 million
dollars.
worth of crypto assets, and that person died on January 15th, and they still haven't been able to figure out how to access those funds. And now I'm not sure exactly what will happen to those clients. I'm sure they're going to start suing the shit out of that company or that exchange. I don't know how much they'll get out of it, but that's $190 million. That's a lot of money that is inaccessible because there was a central point of failure, not only with the exchange, but within the exchange.
With that
right?
one person.
That one person, right? And we were talking about this earlier. If that happened, God forbid that happened to Edge, none of that risk doesn't exist.
I mean,
our users have the access to their own funds. So if our CEO or yourself, unfortunately, something horrible happened, it would have no impact on our users' fund. It would affect our business in terms of disrupting it, right? And whenever you lose a key piece, like you or Paul, that would definitely it would hurt.
Yeah.
But our users, fundamentally, who we serve,
when
would
people
be fine.
quit, usually you get like 2 weeks notice or something. You can wipe
Exactly.
but not with that. But I mean, the worst thing that could possibly happen to Edge is that the whole company shuts down. Right, the Edge just goes offline. Our servers go offline. But what would happen in that case is the app would still work. You can still log in with your thumbprint or with your password. The full, not the PIN login. The PIN login requires a server for rate limiting, but password and thumbprint both get you in, and you can access your funds, extract your private keys, do whatever you need to do.
Yeah.
Without Edge servers or Edge company at all.
Yeah, that's what attracted me to Airbits when we were Airbits at first. That this architecture could deal with maximum chaos, which I always viewed the crypto markets as the Wild West, where anything that can happen will happen, kind of this like entropic process where maximum chaos is always around the corner.
Just when you thought you would never heard something crazy or something crazy happen.
Exactly. And we're set up where there's kind of like a sharing of responsibility, and ultimately the sovereignty and control of the assets land with the user. So anything that happens to us is kind of mitigated by the way we've set things up.
But even within our company, like we have the Edge like chest of like payroll money,
Yeah, yeah.
and that's a multi-sig wallet.
Yeah,
and
even if some other things happen, we have checks on checks on checks.
Right,
yeah.
right.
And then I think going forward, security is always it's never static. So going forward, we're probably going to have to maybe rethink those checks on checks on checks, right? And keep splitting things up. And
we were actually discussing this before the show. We're like, well, what if this happened? What if the airplane with all of the people in this category crashed on the way to a conference? Like, oh, well, we be okay. Well, maybe we should think about this and readjust our security setup.
And in some ways, we're kind of like lawyers, always thinking of the worst case scenario and setting it up. But that's something we got to do. Always think about, all right, what is the worst possible thing that could happen? What keeps me up at night? And then we fix it, right? Before it even becomes a problem.
Well, there's always the thing with security, though, because you're always trading off two completely separate scenarios when it comes to securing cryptocurrencies. One is the risk of theft, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how easy is it? What's the central point where someone can get in and just take that money? And the other is the risk of loss, right?
Yep.
How many people need to lose keys or die in this case, which is very unfortunate, before you can't get to the money anymore? And the more people you have with access to the funds, well, now there's more opportunities for theft. So
Yep.
you're trying to balance the two. So I don't think there's any such thing as perfect security. It's
No.
just you're always reevaluating and shuffling and trying to find that optimum point.
Exactly.
Where you
Yeah,
can-
if anyone's selling you perfect security, it doesn't exist either in the digital world or physical world, right? But there are ways that you can get up to, 98, 99% probability.
Reasonable confidence.
Exactly. And that's what the world runs on, any system. There is no perfect system. There's always, failures that happen, but it's all about thinking about those failures before, because they're going to happen, and being able to mitigate those failures and not have a catastrophic event from those failures. And that's what we're and William is kind of at the head of that at Edge, always kind of thinking 5-10 years ahead, like what are the potential problems down the road? Is our architecture, is it still good? So he gets a lot of that stress, kind of thinking about all that stuff.
Yeah.
And
So
William does a great job, and I haven't really heard of any negative incident. I'm a user of Edge. I love what we do, and we're hyper focused on securing and helping you secure your own funds.
So we've got some questions here from a guy called Brother Shields on BitTube.
Okay. Let's see.
Or he's asking about BitTube. Sorry, we were so busy talking that we didn't notice the little blinking, flashing notification here that we have messages.
Let's see. BitTubes or Tubes going to become a digital asset on the Edge wallet? Well, first of all, we wouldn't just add it. BitTubes would need some type of JavaScript wallet library that can create transactions and sign transactions.
So I'm not super familiar with BitTubes.
I have no idea. I'm just telling whoever's bringing it up, and they would need to be set up some public servers, some Electrum.
Well, okay. So
X nodes.
here's the thing. I first need to know, and this is actually a good framework to think about for any kind of asset you might want to put into Edge. So first of all, is it an ERC20 token or a token on a blockchain like a Ripple or something like that? If it's a token, we really just have to add a piece of information to our app.
Yep.
Like just a couple lines of code and it's done. It's just built in and it's ready to go. So tokens are easy. So BitTube is like an ERC20 token running on Ethereum. We could
If it is, do you know? I don't know.
I don't know. That's why I
Yeah.
was asking,
Yeah.
like, how does BitTube work?
Yeah.
In that case, it would be a piece of cake. Right?
Yeah. We already support it by default, right?
Yeah,
now.
right. We just need to enable it. And that's kind of a business question, like who do we partner with and why do we put the tokens in? Well, usually there's some mutual benefit, right?
Yeah, they usually license out part of our SDK, either the full stack or just like a portion of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Or we want to partner with them in some other way.
Yeah.
And it seems to make sense. So yeah, that's a way to do it. If BitTube is like a Steemit, where it's actually its own blockchain, its own network, completely from scratch, that's going to be a lot more work because
Yeah.
we're going to have to implement the whole blockchain ground up. Like took us about probably 2 months of work, 3 months of work to add EOS into our
Yeah,
wallet.
yeah.
Like that'd be that much work again for whatever the coin is.
Yep. Yeah.
If it's a clone of an existing network, like Bitcoin Cash is very similar to Bitcoin because they forked from each other. Litecoin, Dogecoin, all those things are very
Yep.
similar to each other. So to add one of those, we just copy paste what we've already got, and that's pretty straightforward as well. So there's like 3 levels of difficulty. So if it's just a token, piece of cake, clone of a network, add some parameters, tweak a few things, whole new network. Now we're talking about a lot of work.
Gotcha. All right, I got a security question for you from
Okay.
a user. Let's see. This is like a general security. Should I pay? Oh, yeah. What if a user is affected by ransomware on one of their devices? Should I pay? Will my files be guaranteed to be released and safe? Or should they ignore the ransom?
So this is a difficult problem if you get ransomware on your computer.
Yeah.
I would say, now my personal situation is I would not want to pay the ransomware because of 2 things. First of all, I don't want to support criminal activity, right? Like if I'm giving my money to this person who's scamming people and destroying people's lives.
You're just funding their operations.
You're funding them. You're encouraging them. Like morally, ethically, I don't want to do that. The other thing is I think about data security and I have backups. All of my important information is in multiple places. So if you ransomware my PC, I'll wipe it and start again and reload my backup and everything's great. So that's my situation. If I was in a position where I had super valuable stuff that was under ransomware and I couldn't live without it and I had no backup, then that's a lack of foresight on my part. But if I was in that situation and I paid the ransom, there's no guarantee that they will release it. However, their business model is based on you wanting to pay them, so they usually are pretty okay-ish about that. You know, like there's a good chance you'll get your data back, but I just feel so dirty doing that.
Yeah, and I would say I don't know what device you got ransomware on. I would say it's definitely easier to get it on a laptop or some type of PC than a mobile phone. Because if you're on a mobile phone, more than likely you are downloading from the App Store. Hopefully, if you're not, then you're at more risk of downloading ransomware if you're just downloading from some random website. So I would stick to downloading things strictly off the Google Play Store or iTunes. And if you're downloading stuff on your desktop, definitely make sure that it's from a reputable site or reputable vendor, right? It's going to be hard to download, or I should say, it's hard to get ransomware if you're not, downloading any malicious software.
I mean, just good security hygiene. I mean, knowing when an email looks fishy.
Oh,
and
okay.
Just lots of basic stuff.
So, we have a good question here from Lou. Why are there so many shit coins? Well, thank you, Lou. Thank you for that question. That's a good question. So, I think Bitcoin and crypto assets in general remind us about the subjectivity of value, and
that was way more profound than I was expecting.
Yeah. Oh, thank you, thank you.
I was going to start with something about scams and like making a quick buck, but no, that's actually a really good.
Yeah, and someone like myself, I don't own everything that we hold in our wallet, but we're a business and we move with the market and we listen to our users, not necessarily our ideological prejudices. So like someone like me, I am more bullish on Bitcoin. Someone like William really likes Bitcoin Cash and what they're doing on their side, but we're still able to hold a civil conversation. And I learn things from William, and hopefully sometimes I give some insight to William on how I think about things. And then there's there's something like we have EOS in there, which gets a lot of hate.
I want to distinguish between like legitimate contenders to the cryptocurrency throne and like
that's fine.
There's the bulk of like useless coins that have no purpose.
Yeah, and I would say all the coins in there have at least a minimum technical infrastructure for us to be able to support. If they're complete scams with nothing behind them, we can't support them. If they have a JavaScript library with wallet functionality and they have nodes running and there's users that ask for us to put it on the platform, then we're going to service our users.
When I think shitcoin, I think of 2015, and there was like Bitcoin, and then someone copied Bitcoin and made Litecoin, which seemed reasonable. They changed the hash algorithm. That was a nice concept. And then you had another coin copied to Potcoin, and you had Dogecoin, and you had literally thousands of coins created over a course of about a year. Like, that's more than a coin a day. And most of them had no utility, no practical anything. There literally was a website that I found where you could say what the parameters were, like take Bitcoin, change this, that, and the other thing, and we'll generate your coin for you. We'll give you a block explorer, we'll give you everything you need, and we'll launch your coin for you as a service. Like, there's literally no value there because it's just a copy of things that exist, right? So in that sense, that's a shitcoin.
Gotcha.
And when I see shitcoin, that's what I'm thinking, like a copy, a low effort clone.
Well, because I was going
forks now, the 20 Bitcoin Cash, and all these forks came out. Like Bitcoin Cash was a fork. Then you got Bitcoin Gold and Diamond and
SV.
Bitcoin Lego, and like it's just like I don't even know. Like,
okay, yeah, because I think what he was talking about is like I feel like people that use the shitcoin are thinking it's anything but Bitcoin is a shitcoin,
right?
Which I'm.
So yeah, there's the maximalist definition.
That's where I was interpreting his definition because that's where I usually hear from, and I'm a Bitcoin bull. I like BTC and what they're doing on their side, but I don't consider everything else not BTC a shitcoin. There are a lot of shitcoins out there, but I think the things that we have on our platform, have a minimum technical background, and our users want them, so they get them.
There's the low effort clones, which is like the lowest bar to cross over.
Yep.
And I think a lot of people just made those for fun, for entertainment. Maybe they thought they could make a quick buck.
Like, why? Because we can.
Yeah, right. And then you have other coins that have valuable technical things to offer. So EOS is a complete ground up rewrite.
Or Monero.
Right. Monero's offering privacy. Zcoin's offering privacy as well.
Yeah.
You've got some sort of an angle, right? Dash was innovative in the sense that they have this foundation that's getting paid by the master node. So they're
kind of like a governance system.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and then they got instant send and private send, little, you know.
Yeah, there's something there. All those coins that we tend to like have something there. And I don't think that we've seen the ultimate coin that will win the world.
Yeah.
I think we're right now in the MySpace era of Bitcoin or blockchain technology. I think that there's going to be some killer coin that's going to come out that's going to have all the features you want. Fast, reliable, instant sends for cheap. You know, you never have to worry about blocks being full. So maybe that's like the Lightning Network on top of BTC. You know, they say that you can have instant sends, but can they make it reliable? That's you know,
it's still an open question.
Still an open question. I mean, it's still today the experience is not 100%. Like you may or may not find a route with your payment, but you know, maybe we'll get there.
Yeah.
But then you also want privacy. You want smart contracts. You want tokens.
Yeah,
you know, you put all these requirements on it, and I don't see any one thing that has everything. So it may not be even existing. The coin that is the Facebook of the future, that where everyone uses it, may not exist today.
Gotcha.
And so people keep trying.
Yeah, infinite experimentation.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's
that old quip. If you put a bunch of typewriters and monkeys in a room, you know,
are you going to write the Bible or Shakespeare or something like that? Yeah.
The amount of time it would take is astronomical, but it's kind of like that. We're just
put enough developers in a room and you get the perfect cryptocurrency.
Create enough random coins, and eventually one of them might hit the jackpot.
Let's see. Oh, let's make sure we announce that for any Airbits users, and I know a lot of the Airbits users were using Glidera as an exchange. They'll be shutting down in March 15th, 2019. So in about a month and a half, they'll be shutting down. Make sure you, if you do use them, move to Edge. And we have another exchange that's providing buy-sell for U.S. bank accounts called Wire. So you won't be able to. You can still buy and sell in Glidera right now, but March 15th it'll be shutting down. So make sure if you're still trying to get buy-sell through your account, download Edge. Just use the same username and password you're using for Airbits. Your assets will show up right where you left them, and you'll be able to set up. Unfortunately, you'll set up a new account with Wire. And you'll be able to get buy-sell service for your U.S. bank account.
There is one caveat. Wire has buy right now, but I don't think it has sell yet.
That's right. We're
still working on
that. How quick do you think that turnaround will be?
Alan just did the pull request for the giant feature that's needed to enable that. So next release, maybe not this coming release, but like the next release.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, right. That'll be right in time.
Yeah.
And then let's see. Paul, our CEO, is at Satoshi Roundtable. I don't know if anyone out there got an invite, but if you did get an invite, say hi to Paul. Yeah. And then Paul will also be in Atlanta for TabConf. I don't know if I like that name, but hopefully it's a good
I went to TabConf's website conference. And they had a tagline. It was really funny. It was like no shit
and this
coins
is in
allowed,
Atlanta.
or no ICOs allowed.
No, I like that. I like that. So if you're in Atlanta, you're a user, Paul will be there from February 8th to the 10th.
A blockchain conference of substance, accessible to all, except ICO pitches.
I like substance. Okay, so they're inclusive but still exclusive.
Yeah, we don't want scams, but we want
Got you. I think. Do we have any more questions? I think we covered a good amount. Let's see. No.
All right,
Kylan, are we good?